I have a story for you today, all right? So sometimes someone can be so successful that they cannot even be persecuted by an entire nation that is after them. Today we'll be talking about the author of the, Where the Crawdads Sing. This book is the definition of success, okay? And today we'll be talking about how one of the most successful authors to come out of the last 2 decades is literally accused of murder, but not exactly her. And I would like to clarify this. This is all alleged, all right? They are only being brought in for questioning, and I'll explain to you the details, the drama, the tea. Just stick around. Let's go. Owens and her family, the author and her family, are essentially what you would call conservationists. They are people who essentially believe in conserving animals that are endangered. This is an honorable cause. It's a noble cause. And the person that was murdered, the killed individual, actually is a poacher. See, they are conservationists, they are Americans, and they went to Zambia, and there was a poacher that was killed, and there was a whole documentary about this. Now, in the documentary, you can see the title here on the screen. Technically, what happened was, the poacher, we can see the person that was murdered has been killed, and then someone else comes along and deals the final fatal blow. They essentially kill the person for a final blow. All right, this is very important to understand because this is where the alleged accusations come from. Essentially, Dahlia Owens, a relative of hers, all right, or someone close to her, Christopher Owens, I believe that might be her husband, I'm not exactly certain. But Christopher Owens, or Chris in other words, essentially is accused of the murder. And Dahlia and her family are being sought after by the Zambian judiciary to actually come forth and be questioned by the judiciary in order to determine whether they were involved or not. For me, this has to be one of the most crazy things I have ever come across, because you have a white family and they are conservationists and they have a belief. And then they go to a southeastern African country, all right? And then they do whatever they want in that country, and they come out and they do not answer to the judiciary. They do not come forth in order to participate in the investigation that is happening. And so the reason why this is crazy to me is because Zambia has a deep history of white people just going there and doing as they like and then leaving. All right? And so they have left with a lot of wealth. And this is definitely not a good look for the Owens family. And so let's actually take a look at some interviews. As you can see here, the Owens family have actually written quite a lot of books about this one. The Eye of the Elephant, and the Eye of the Elephant, and the Cry of the Kalahari, basically 2 remarkably successful books. They're never really anywhere near, not even 1% as successful as Where the Crawdads Sing. But in the story of the Crawdads, right, suspiciously, the story actually has a character who essentially murders her boyfriend for attempting to really assault her, and then she's brought in for questioning. And so you see there is this murder in a swamp, in a marsh, right? Zambia, essentially. A lot of people essentially link both of these two. And so they say the book, the Crawdads book, might have actually been inspired by this particular, event, this particular murder that has been chasing the family for a very, very long time. The Zambian authorities actually were interviewed, and they told the Goldberg this July of the Owens, there is no statute of limitations on murder in Zambia. They are all wanted for questioning in this case, including Dahlia Owens, right? So as you can see, they are all wanted for questioning in this case. Now remember, you as an individual go to a foreign country, you have to understand that country has a legislature, it has an executive, and it has a judiciary. What we're talking about here, the Zambian authorities are the judiciary of Zambia, and they want to only really question They are all wanted for questioning in this case. Now remember, keep that in mind. Many people talk about Dahlia Owens as if she is the murderer or Christopher is, but these people are wanted for questioning. Now let's talk about how the likelihood that they are actually going to be fully brought in and they will fully participate with Zambian authorities for this to be concluded. And I genuinely do not think that's ever going to happen. The reason why I don't think it's going to happen is because, let's be realistic, Zambia is a highly corrupt nation. Its executive, judiciary, legislative, all branches of the Zambian government are up for grabs if you have the money. And it's very interesting to me because Dahlia Owens herself and the Owens family are super rich. They can hire the best lawyers. They can also bribe to the fill and essentially not be persecuted in Zambia, even if they were the ones who did it. And so you have a white family that goes to an African country, allegedly participates in a murder, and then you have that family being rich enough to escape any punishment. I think it is just, O.J. Simpson's, but yeah, let's just take a look at this other interview. Dahlia Owens was actually interviewed by the Goldberg. Here it says, Dahlia Owens, however, told Goldberg the same year that she didn't know anything about the killing, nor did her husband or her stepson. Her husband, I believe, is Christopher Owens. That's the person, I believe, that is most likely to be accused, because we can see in the documentary a man deals the final blow. Quote, "We don't know anything about it." This is Dahlia Owens. Goldberg says Owens said at the time, "The only thing Mark ever did was throw firecrackers out of his plane, but just to scare poachers, not to hurt anyone." Now remember, this is already illegal. Throwing firecrackers out of his plane is already illegal and enough to be persecuted. Remember, you're going to a foreign country with a judiciary. You cannot just throw firecrackers to scare the poachers. There are authorities after those poachers. You have to respect the law and let the authorities handle it. This is just vigilantism. And it is remarkably sad to hear this from her, as if it's something that can be easily trivialized. But it is not helping either that she is essentially white. A white woman or a white person trivializing the judiciary or the authorities of an African country. Sounds very, very, bad, but exactly. She added, "Chris wasn't there. We don't even know where that event took place. It was horrible, a person being shot like that." Lawyers for the family. Whew. Lawyers. Yep. Lawyers for the family have also denied any wrongdoing or involvement, according to the Atlantic. Of course, that's what lawyers do. Can you imagine? The lawyers have accepted that the defendant is a criminal. Anyway, so this is a remarkably sad case, but also it's not as deadly as people make it out to be. I am really more interested in the fact that we have a rich family here, and this family can easily escape justice because they are rich and white, and Zambia is a South African or Southern African country with a corrupt judiciary that can easily be, skimmed or easily skipped with few bribes here and there. So I don't see Dahlia Owens ever being persecuted for this. Not in a million years. I will die of old age in my deathbed at the age of 1,000 years before Dahlia Owens and her family are even questioned by the Zambian authorities, brought in for question. It's just impossible. I don't see it happening. White, rich, Zambia, African, corrupt. Come on. Let me make more commotion, all right? Let me protest. I'm protesting. It's impossible for them to be persecuted, all right? I'll throw more tantrum. That's just not gonna happen, man. All right? I have my stick. I can throw it around. It's just never gonna happen. So as you can see, this is where we are, all right? We have a rich white family that went to Africa a corrupt African country that has a deep, deep history of being exploited by shit. Oh shit. I'm gonna cut that. I'm going to cut that. Please don't keep this as a joke. It's not funny. That's going to damage people's ears. Anyhow, so we have this, basically, this family that's white goes to an African country with a history of being exploited by white people there. And she is brought in, or she is wanted for a question. Come on, man. It's not going to happen. Rich, it's not going to happen. So that's where the case is. It's a very interesting one. I never heard of this one. Someone actually brought it up in this channel, and it is very, very interesting to me. Stuff like this happens because I'm always curious about something like this. It's just insane drama, but also you don't expect it. A woman writes a beautiful book with beautiful prose. It's innocent. It's got nice court drama, right? It's got this marsh, beautiful descriptions of a marsh, and then it's got this beautiful cover. Take a look at that. It's freaking amazing. And then, boom, suddenly she's being brought in, you know, in relation to a murder. Whew, damn, where did things go? All right, what happened? Anyhow, so I hope you enjoyed this video. What do you think of this particular case? Do you think they'll ever be, you know, fully questioned and investigated thoroughly without any, you know, yeah. Anyhow, I hope you enjoyed this video. Have a nice day. Bye.